after going through that, luckily, came back to Charlotte like I hoped. And a year later, my uncle passed away from cancer. And then a year after that, my friend passed away unexpectedly. And at that time, too, with my friend, I was like, if I could just hear that, hey, man, everything's okay. I'm sorry you got to see this, but I wanted to make sure I could be there to help help you, even though I'm not there right now. And so maybe it's a story. Remember that one time that we punked your parents and they got super mad at us? Something to bring a smile to my face or just some kind of closure would have been so big. And then I got to thinking with my girlfriend, because her mom was going through something at the time. I'm like, what if she were to like schedule messages, kind of like this concept? And she was like, yeah, I think that would really help. And at the time, we were in Cabo on vacation. So I was like, maybe when we get back, let me look into this, see if that's a thing. And you know how we sign terms and conditions for everything, just a little tap? Like, why can't we set money aside without the need of a trust or a will or life insurance or somebody to carry that out as an executor would? And I was like, well, maybe just start a business. Let's do something. Let's do something because of what happened and what I've experienced to hopefully relate to people and help people out.
Yeah.
And you mentioned how I'm trying to help people who are grieving, which I want to. And I've tried to study up and do everything I can. But I think this is more about people helping those that they love.
Building great experiences. Revolutionize your business. Building great experiences. Innovative strategies. Building great experiences. Elevate for your customers. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Hey folks, this is Drew with another episode of the Building Great Experiences podcast. Today I've got my friend Zach Spring on the show. He's the founder CEO of YourEkko. We met a couple months ago, I think.
Product Jam.
Yeah, Product Jam, exactly. So I was, immediately drawn to his story. Very cool. I'm excited to have him share that with you. But just for kind of a quick, what we're going to be talking about today, his business is all around helping folks who are grieving. And so it should make for a really interesting conversation as we talk about the world of experiences and perhaps, more like unexpected scenarios that people may be facing and how to maybe think about that as a business leader. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah,
Excited
man.
to share some stories and enlighten some people, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. So I often will start with origin stories, kind of how you got to where you are today, what brought you to this, and especially around YourEkko, like how the idea came to be and kind of how you got there.
Yeah. So things were going great in life. I was healthy, played college sports, worked out all the time. And then my back started hurting one day. And after chiropractors, which they're great, didn't really work out. A lot of pain was happening until my left leg went numb one night. And drove to the ER. They said, you got these nodules on your spinal cord. And obviously, kind of alarms go up. And after the scans, they're like, no worries. It's this autoimmune disease. It's called neurosarcoidosis. But it's only common in Scandinavian women and African-American men. And if anybody's listening, I'm neither of those. So they said it's rare. Obviously, this is maybe a one-off, but you're okay. Here's some steroids. A couple months later, the back's fine, but I had a seizure. And go back in. They said, yeah, neurosarcoidosis, those nodules, they're in your brain now. But tests, not metastasized. Here's some more steroids. A couple months go by, and I'm starting to get these headaches. I'm nauseous, literally running into people at work that I didn't see in my peripheral. And so I tell them what's going on. They say, come back in for an MRI. Well, that same night, they're like, you got to come back. These nodules, they're 3 times bigger than when you had the seizure.
Wow.
You probably have brain cancer. So in an Uber, because I can't drive, I had a seizure, so you can't drive for a while.
Yeah.
On the way, I'm telling my mom, hey, this might be brain cancer. You probably should come down. And because they haven't seen these metastases in the test, they're like, we got to do a biopsy. And that's what this awesome scar is here.
Pretty nice.
Of course, I wake up and they're like, it is B-cell lymphoma and 22 staples in my head. I'm like, luckily, I think I'm dumb enough to kind of be not worried, I guess, at the time. I was like, all right, well, what do we got to do? When can I come back to Charlotte? Is what I asked. So, because I always heard, if you have cancer, like, stay positive. I truly believe that's still a good thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I go up to Columbus, Ohio, at the Ohio State University Comprehensive Care Research Center, the James. 'Cause I'm from Columbus, and my family's there, so it's nice to be up there with them and have them help me go through everything. And I remember before I started chemo, because they said we got to start ASAP, and because these things are growing so fast in your brain, you could be dead in 5 days or 5 weeks. I mean, the center line of your brain can only move so far left or right to where that's it. Just short circuits, basically. So we had to start immediately, even though I had 22 staples still in my head. And they recommended maybe usually waiting. But when I heard that, it was more about, well, I'm not worried about the death part. It was what happens to my family who has to grieve. And I can't be there to make them smile. I can't say happy birthday. I can't buy them drinks or dinner anymore. That was what really concerned me the most. So, this happened. It was about 4 months of 6 different chemo treatments. I got a stem cell transplant, kept me in the hospital for like 21 nights. Of course, all this is during COVID, just starting to.
Oh, wow.
So the visitors kind of stopped, couldn't really come in. But everybody was super great, super supportive at that time too. So after going through that, luckily, came back to Charlotte like I hoped. And a year later, my uncle passed away from cancer. And then a year after that, my friend passed away unexpectedly. And at that time too, with my friend, I was like, if I could just hear that, hey man, everything's okay. I'm sorry you got to see this, but I wanted to make sure I could be there to help for you, help you, even though I'm not there right now. And so maybe it's a story. Remember that one time that we punked your parents when they got super mad at us? Something to bring a smile to my face or just some kind of closure would have been so big. And then I got to thinking with my girlfriend, because her mom was going through something at the time. I'm like, what if she were to like schedule messages, kind of like this concept? And she was like, yeah, I think that would really help. And at the time, we were in Cabo on vacation. So I was like, maybe when we get back, let me look into this, see if that's a thing. And you know how we sign terms and conditions for everything, just a little tap? Like, why can't we set money aside without the need of a trust or a will or life insurance or somebody to carry that out as an executor would? And I was like, well, maybe just start a business. Let's do something. Let's do something because of what happened and what I've experienced to hopefully relate to people and help people out.
Yeah.
And you mentioned how I'm trying to help people who are grieving, which I want to. And I've tried to study up and do everything I can. But I think this is more about people helping those that they love using YourEkko.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we got to today.
Yeah. Wow, man. Well, it's you added a lot more color to the story than even the last time I heard it. Powerful story. And there's a few reasons why I was excited to have you on the show. One, you're just a cool dude. You're super fun. But two, like, I think, your passion and your mission come through and like what you're building. There's a few things that like, I'd love to unpack with you. So one is, I think a lot of times in companies and brands, it's easy to focus on like the primary cases, right? Like this is kind of like happy path, right? Like let's make the experience great for 80% of the people. And you kind of like ignore the 20%, right? And I think there's a tremendous opportunity to kind of like consider those folks. But then I also think there's opportunity for folks like yourself to like start entire businesses that serve those niche populations, right? Like, and also, just generally, I think the topic of grief is something that people typically get a little bit like, ugh, like, I don't really want to hear about this. I don't want to talk about this. And being able to make that a little bit lighter, right, and like bring joy to somebody in those dark moments is a really powerful thing that I think is if you think about from a business standpoint, if you're trying to create loyalty and trust with the customer, with people, set aside the just human impact, which is a great thing. People are gonna like now be like, man, that business was there for me in that moment of need, and now like I'm a customer for life, right? It's like a different spin on kind of like what YourEkko is about. But I think like I'd love you shared with me a lot about like your philosophy, how it's changed through that experience, and like how it's affecting YourEkko and how you're pulling that into the product and the experience. Yeah. So maybe talk a little bit about that.
When I was going through things, I tried to kind of make sense of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And something that stuck with me to this day, whether it's grieving or you had a bad day at work or you're just in a funk, you're not sure what's going on, is, and it sounds cliche at first, but to keep that hope that things will get better. And what I've tried to like make sense of all that is it's natural to grieve. It's natural to have bad days. We're gonna have that.
Yep.
But to think of in the sense of it's like the weather, like the sun's coming up naturally. Rain is going to come through naturally. There's going to be those rainy days. There's going to be thunderstorms. There's going to be tornadoes and hurricanes that are truly devastating. If we're lucky enough to not have it happen to us, maybe it happens to somebody else, but it all comes around as far as like a grieving process. And that's where it's like to think, let it rain, let it storm, let it be bad. The sun will come back out for you, hopefully. And if it's not for you, maybe you've prepared that sun to come out for somebody else, which in this case would be like YourEkko, scheduling messages to help somebody in a time which your words or actions may go unsaid otherwise.
Yeah.
So I really try to think about that time where it's not going well, things aren't going well, maybe I'm grieving. It's okay to cry. Like, let's cry. It's natural, right? Just keep in the back of your mind that the sun will come back out or somebody will bring that sun. And with sun and rain, things will grow. Things will regrow. Things will rebuild. Life does go on. Not to say that it fixes what we experience, but like you said, at least it helps a little bit. There's no grieving that's fun or that's joyful, but it can be a little bit better than having nothing there at all. And there are options. There are therapy and there are support groups. Totally, like, suggest all of that. Some people hear therapy and they're like, counselors, therapy, kind of like you said, taboo, don't want to talk about it. It's interesting though to me because as much as we work on our physical body, we're running, biking, working out, why does that have to be any different than working on our mental? To have a professional talk us through things that we try to fight through or maybe we just push down. I think more and more people talk about things like therapy or grieving, the less taboo it gets over the years. Kind of just gets better. It's also part of YourEkko, kind of bringing that to the surface.
Yeah.
You talk about companies who invest on people who are grieving. I think something that would be good for companies, maybe just every quarter, talk about the benefits that company's already paying for to make available to their employers and let them know that they are there, including if you're grieving. Because maybe sometimes employer or people aren't telling their employer they're going through something, but to make that plug, it reminds them that it's there. And maybe they'll actually tap into something that they wouldn't have otherwise. Company's paying for it. Might as well make sure that money doesn't go wasted.
Yeah.
You also mentioned companies that really stick to you, who not capitalize, but help people who are grieving. You may have heard about Chewy, what Chewy does.
Yeah.
You have a pet, you get that automatic food every month, but if your pet passes away, you're going to cancel it, let them know your pet passed away. They send you flowers and a card. We're really sorry. Keep that food, donate it. And that's something super big that if you can make the smallest of gestures, it's better than nothing. And again, that comes back to YourEkko. You can do nothing. Or you can prepare something, super simple words or a video for those you love in case you pass away before them. And it's just really the thought at the bottom of everything that counts.
Yeah. Man, lots of things to dig into. So one of the things, I'll actually start with kind of what you said there at the end. Little things, little gestures that can really have a big impact. I actually had somebody on the podcast, is CEO of a company called Handwritten, and their whole business model is you can send handwritten notes to a large volume of people. And there's the classic printer prints a note and it's like you can tell it's fake, it doesn't look real. They've actually designed a solution where it's like robots that'll replicate your handwriting, and they have this big warehouse where it will physically write with pen and ink on these little notes and then send it on your behalf. And it's funny. I've talked to a couple of folks, and I was actually talking to, his name is David, about this, but it could seem a little hokey. But what's interesting is he was sharing a lot of people won't take the moment to write the note, especially when it's if I don't know, you're a business leader and you've got 500 to write. You're like, I don't have time to do this.
Yeah.
So it gives you the ability to create that personalization at scale, which I think is a lot of kind of what you're after. It's how do you help people to be able to create these messages and send them to people in these like trying moments, like on their birthday, on their anniversary, on a holiday. And it allows you to not, I mean, you think about if you're in the final days, right? And you're like, I don't know how long I have left. And you're trying to like write personal notes to every single person, right? Like that's a lot of work. And it's like, do you want to spend the rest of your time like sending messages or scheduling messages? No. But if you're able to do it with, you know, something like YourEkko, like I feel like that makes it just really feels more achievable, you know? And then I also think the personal element, any company in any industry can really take that and apply it in their context, right? Like and it really comes down to thinking about who are the human beings that are on the other side? What do they need? What are they going through? What do they care about? What are their, you know, desires and whatever? How do we like create the small momentary, like personal touch that will make that even better? And particularly right now, right? Like, I talk a lot about AI. AI, you know, I tend to be more of a techno optimist. I think technology is an enabler for humanity. But things are going to get faster and easier. It's going to be like, it's just, I call it like the sea of sameness, right? You're going to have all this just noise. And the things that are going to differentiate one business from another is like the human stuff, the personal touch stuff, right? Totally. Which is why, you know, when we connected, I was pretty pumped by what you're doing, because it really is more, you're emphasizing the humanity piece versus like, I'm trying to make a dollar, you know? Yeah.
And I also want to kind of just focus on like, this isn't just about the impacts you have on somebody if you're not there.
Yeah.
But this is the opportunity to take time, like reflect, and really express the gratitude. Because part of the model is you're not going to not know someone has a message scheduled for you. You are going to be aware that a message is scheduled for you. So you can opt out if you don't want to be involved. But that's also, again, the moment where, hey, I just want to let you know that I'd really loved everything you've done for me, and really appreciate you in my life, helping me do this. And it's good to share now versus otherwise, maybe you don't. And maybe you do over a couple of drinks, you get really emotional, but this is more genuine today, where you have that opportunity to tell somebody how much they mean to you, knowing that it will also be there afterwards, hence YourEkko.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Like it kind of like creates that moment where you can reflect and introspect and be like, wow, I am really grateful for this person's impact on my life, and and be ahead of even when something potentially, you know.
I kind of like to say, you know, there's life insurance, right? I like to think of this as afterlife assurance, that after your life, you're going to be assured that you're going to have some benefit or impact on a terrible time that someone's going through.
Yeah. So, this is not on the script, so I'm going to go off script a little bit. Cool. You're new startup, relatively. You're on the cusp of launching.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest takeaways, learnings you've had since starting?
Get a mentor.
Get a mentor.
Immediately get one.
Yeah.
No matter how much experience you think you have, get a mentor. And like you mentioned, AI, just ask AI too. Maybe that's your mentor. How should I start doing this? Product Jam was huge too. We used some AI in that too. Yeah. And I think with a mentor, I could have saved a lot of money when it comes to investing, you know, out of savings to put money into something. I'm like, I don't even know why I did that. I thought I needed it at the time until I asked or told somebody I'm doing that. They're like, you know, you could just do this instead. So I think getting a mentor would really help you save some money and really fast track whatever you're trying to do versus just thinking you can do all of it.
Yeah. That's good. Well, if you're open to it, I'd love to hear, like, what are some of the things that you're like, oh, I spent money on that, I wish I hadn't?
A focus group. At the time, I didn't do much research. I thought I did. Maybe I wasn't using the right keywords. So I didn't know about other companies that I could look at their pricing, verbiage on how they're expressing these things. So I signed up for this focus group thing where just to sign up was a couple $1,000. So then you have to spend more money to attract people to actually answer your questions. Because I was trying to see, like, how do I price this?
Yeah.
So that was a big one that I wish I had spent that money elsewhere on.
Yeah, right.
And then the development part is big too. If I had a mentor, somebody to bounce off, like, does this make sense? I could have probably shortened the time of development. Yeah. I didn't know anything about coding.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know that once you code something and you want to change it, you just got to break it down, almost restart. And that wasted a lot of time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my mom was probably my biggest mentor.
Yeah.
And God love her. I think she's a little biased.
Yeah.
So she did push back on some things and has some great reshaping of everything. To have a third party, though, to also have could have saved me some money and sped things up for sure.
Yeah. I think I can't agree more. You know, I have a business and very much rely on trusted advisors and mentors to kind of like push me, challenge me, poke me. Sometimes you just need somebody to be a sounding board, you know? I had dinner with a friend last night who's an executive at a company. And they were saying that they're like, you know, I just can't talk to my team about this stuff because it's like kind of like, you know, exposing. Like I have all these fears and anxieties of like, what if this and what if that? And in entrepreneur land, it can get lonely, right? You can get kind of like, who do I talk to? And so having that person that you can kind of just frankly go and be like, blah. And then they're like, it's going to be all right. Just do this thing, you know, and it kind of like cuts out a lot of the fear of the unknown or the concern or the like, am I doing the right thing? Should I be doing something different? You know, it's spot on.
Shout out my fiance too. I don't know. I think every day I talk to her about developments, questions, ideas, and she has some, and I try to do a good job of like accepting or saying thank you for the feedback. Maybe not. Yeah. She's been a great sounding board too.
Yeah. It's funny. My wife is very much like, so this is my second time around in entrepreneurship. And, I like to joke, like I kind of learned everything I know about business from my wife. She's a business degree. She's an accounting, you know, she's accounting background. She was a financial controller for her parents' construction business. So when we first started, I like didn't even know what a P&L was. I didn't know how to do anything with like, you know, how to track and measure revenue, how to know if we were profitable. Like I didn't know any of that stuff. Yeah. And this was, you know, 16 years ago. And she very much like helped kind of be like, hey, we should probably put some of this stuff in place. And so, yeah, I'm saying I constantly am like, hey, I have this idea. It's probably a bad idea. Can you check me on this? Yeah. So, yeah, it's good. It's good to have people in your corner that will call you on your stuff too. Yeah. Be like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't do that. Yeah.
Family, spouse, mentors, even just friends. You just talk about it, makes it more, hearing it out loud. Yeah. Also helps, no matter what their feedback is.
Yeah, right. So going back to kind of YourEkko, I realized we've kind of like danced around like what it is, and like what your kind of like product provides. So maybe let's kind of drill down to like what is YourEkko, what's the like kind of the product look like,
sure,
and how does that work?
Sign up, one-time cost, and then it's a yearly subscription. And subscription really is just to make sure if your credit card declines, we know something may be up. You have to have a co-signer, which we call a trusted contact. They're also there to help when that time comes. But once you sign up, you get a message for free. And the one-time cost comes with that second message, which when you pay, you get 2. So then you have messages that can be sent on a certain date and time up to 3 years in the future. And then you have messages that can repeat up to 3 years every day, week, month, or year. So happy birthday, good luck this month, you know, good luck this week, and then I love you every day. Now, this is about the recipient, right? So the recipient has that opportunity to opt out, adjust any reoccurring messages. Maybe it's too much. I don't want it daily, I want it weekly, or even pausing them. So with the money too, there is a opportunity for the person to claim it. And let's just say the recipient isn't there or doesn't claim it. Something happens. Well, we have a partnership with Ohio State University where I was treated so that any unclaimed money goes to Ohio State. And then every dollar per Encore package, the one-time cost, goes to Ohio State as well.
Cool. That's really cool.
Again, no trust or will is required. That's kind of
that's like your
the
thing.
disrupt, but it is supplemental. So it doesn't replace a trust or a will.
Yeah.
But it is something that really, there's one other company in America that does something similar. They just don't provide money or facilitate the delivery.
Got it. So like folks listening on the pod, they're a lot of them business leaders, product leaders, marketing leaders. Part of the reason why I wanted you to have you on the show was this idea that building great experiences, as the show's named, is often thinking about these like unique situations where there's like human impact involved. I'd be really curious to hear your perspective on like, what do you think other leaders can do to consider folks who are grieving? Like, you've gone through this yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everyone will experience grief at some point.
Right.
Like, it's inevitable, right? It's part of just being human.
Right.
What are things that other businesses could do that make that a little bit lighter?
As leaders, you're going to have people coming to you because something happened in their life. It's inevitable. And it's understanding how to have that grief experience, in a sense, to where you're prepared. And to be prepared, you want to know what options those employees have. So with the benefits package, make sure that doesn't go to waste on the company's dime, and make sure your employee knows what's there. And then just the educational point, like, grieving is not one size fits all. It can be an awkward conversation, especially if you're not prepared on how to handle that. So part of this model, aside from the SaaS aspect, is really promoting grief handling awareness. And there's some things, again, it's not one size fits all. There's some pretty hard do's and don'ts, though. Like, don't compare any grieving that you've had to somebody who might be going through something. Don't say it's okay, they're better off now, or they're in a better place now. Doesn't land very well for the most part. Do ask how they're feeling. Ask how you can help them. Maybe just being proactive and sending flowers, or if you're local, just bringing some groceries over so they got some extra food. Just being there to support them in person or over the phone, and following up. So don't just ask one time how they're doing, or saying, I'm sorry for your loss. Especially when you say sorry for your loss, if you know that name, it kind of makes that more personable than just a cop-out response, saying their name too.
Yeah.
And just letting them know this is completely normal. Take the time that you need. It's okay to cry. Let them know it's okay to cry and let go. But just also, again, catch up, follow up, ask them how they're feeling. And it's okay to sit in silence. Let them talk. Bring up a great memory if you know that person well enough, and if it's appropriate. But bring up a great memory. Maybe share some photos that maybe they've never seen, or videos. My friend who passed away, we made punk videos, and we would do like Jackass videos, back in the day. And so his parents had never seen that, and that was one thing that I'd shared with them. And it was great to bring those laughs that I think at a time were, without that, almost impossible. So yeah, just really sharing and being there for someone.
Yeah.
There's a right way to do it. So for employers, really having that education, which I just talk for a couple minutes, that's all it really takes, is to learn these little things that can make the biggest difference, versus maybe saying the wrong thing or just nothing at all and saying, well, let me know if you need anything.
Yeah. I think so. I had framed it as kind of like customer experience, but the employee experience piece is really valuable. And, honestly, it really all comes down to actually caring about people. Like, as silly as that sounds, like, it's amazing to me how many times interacting with leaders, it's kind of like, well, I don't really know what to do. And I don't know. It's like, you just have to just like be a human, like be a person, like, this person's going through a hard time. Make yourself available. I know it's like maybe like inconvenient perhaps, or maybe it's putting you in an uncomfortable position because you don't necessarily know what to do. But I think that leaders that lean into that discomfort and inconvenience and say, I would want somebody to do this for me, right? If I was going through a hard time, can go a really long way. And then, ultimately that's going to allow that person to have the opportunity to grieve, to whatever, and then they're going to come back, and be able to do their job effectively. And, honestly, you'll probably have a very trusting, loyal, team member.
Yeah.
And that person's going to be able to create great experiences for customers.
It's really going to help the brand of a company too. If you could say, like, my manager was so great, I was actually in the worst of my times, and they asked me, questions, and it wasn't just a one-time thing. They followed up with me, and especially in a remote environment, so some of us are, you can't really be there for them in person, but you can be there to follow up, whether it's a week or a month later, just how you doing? Yeah. And let them talk.
Yeah. So, we've covered a lot of ground. I appreciate you so much sharing your story and talking a little bit about YourEkko. Is there anything else you wanted to like cover and like share with the audience?
Yes, actually, this will really make my fiance happy because there's a lot of boxes in our place that's taking up space. But for the first, while supplies last, people that sign up for an Encore package, I'm giving away these socks, which have a positive affirmation on the bottom. Hope, big fan. And then branded grip socks at the bottom here. When I was in the hospital, they have you walk around a lot, try to get your blood flowing, get the stuff out of your body, and just stay healthy. And maybe you're not a cancer patient, or maybe you do Pilates, or maybe you know somebody going through something who might be a fall risk. I thought it'd be nice to have these socks kind of accompany the brand. And like I said, they're free if anybody wanted them when they sign up. So this was something that I wanted to mention and plug.
Cool.
Once we're live, so that people can sign up and have these new fashion statements.
Yeah, I love it. When are y'all going live? When are you shooting to be online?
Shooting for September.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So when this episode comes out, sometime in August, it'll be a couple more weeks away, and you'll sign up. That's awesome.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Congrats, man! Like you're almost there, 1 yard line, right?
Oh man, tush push.
Yeah,
I need it.
yeah. Where can folks find you online?
Instagram and Facebook at YourEkko. YourEkko.
Cool. And folks, you can find me drewburdick.com and LinkedIn. I'll put all the links in the show notes. Thanks for being on the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was a good convo.
Yeah, excited to share and hope we get the word out.
Yeah, right on.
Like, comment, and subscribe.